Picture this. The FBI searches Epstein's home, finds a safe full of photos. And years later, the director sits before Congress pretending not to know what was inside. That's when Ted Lieu snaps. And what he says next cuts right to the heart of America's biggest double standard.
Thank you, Director Patel, for being here today. The FBI searched Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan residence, correct?
I believe that happened in 2018. I think there was 2 locations, sir.
It's 2019, and in that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I don't have the catalog of evidence in front of me.
In that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I'll accept your representation.
Okay. And in that safe, the FBI found topless and lewd photographs of girls, correct?
Again, sir, I'll accept your representation. I don't know.
Thank you. It was all over the media at the time. There's a New York Times article that says Jeffrey Epstein is indicted on sex charges as discovery of nude photos is disclosed, dated July 8th, 2019. And the Times reports a trove of lewd photographs of girls was discovered in a safe inside financier Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion. Author Michael Wolff has conducted numerous interviews of Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to play for you a video clip of what Michael Wolff said Epstein told him was in the safe and what he showed the author was in this safe. So let's please play that clip now.
Elected. And I was sitting talking to Epstein, and he said, "Wait a minute, I got to show you something." And then he went into his safe, and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think, and he kind of spread them out like playing cards, and it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them, and it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house, where all of the things that he would ultimately be accused of took place. And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a 3rd in which he has a stain on the front of his pants. And the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing.
So, Director Patel, I'm going to ask you a very broad and general question. As you know, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were friends. There are, of course, photos showing Donald Trump together with Epstein, correct?
I don't have the entirety of the photographs, but I think they've been photographed in public together.
All right. Are there any photos showing Donald Trump with girls of an uncertain age?
No.
How do you know that?
Because that information would have been brought to light by multiple administrations and FBI investigators over the course of the last 20 years.
Well, you know what? That's just not true, because no one knew about the creepy birthday message that Donald Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein until the Wall Street Journal disclosed it, and then all of a sudden, the Epstein estate provides it to Congress.
Well,
so certainly, you weren't there at the search. You don't know what Epstein may or may not have done with those photographs even prior to the search. Maybe someone has it. Maybe the Epstein estate has it.
You raise a great point.
So I'm going to ask you, have you asked to talk to Michael Wolff?
You raise a great point. I haven't personally asked to talk to Michael Wolff.
Has the FBI asked?
But the FBI, I'll get back to you if the FBI specifically
so Michael Wolff has
ever.
About 100 hours of testimony of Jeffrey Epstein. Wouldn't it be good for the FBI to interview Michael Wolff?
I'm not saying they haven't. I just don't know.
Has FBI subpoenaed the tapes that Michael Wolff has conducted of Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know.
All right. So if you could provide us an answer, that would be terrific.
Sure.
Well, let me ask you this question then. Have you looked at all the photos in Epstein files?
I have looked at all the information that the investigators who investigated this case have provided to run out credible leads.
And in the Epstein files, was there that creepy birthday message that Donald Trump had written to Epstein?
No, that's what I was trying to tell you. You raise a great point. The estate of Jeffrey Epstein has a voluminous amount of information that they have not released before.
Okay, so that's great. So Wouldn't it be great if FBI subpoenaed the estate of Jeffrey Epstein for all that information?
The estate is under no obligation to provide that material, even pursuant to a subpoena. That's a great point.
Yeah, that's just false.
Okay.
That's just false. You're the frickin' FBI. You can subpoena the information from the estate, and you better do that.
That's literally not how it works.
I'm going to move on now and talk about Epstein's client list. You confirmed that it exists. Attorney General Pam Bondi confirmed earlier this year that it exists. So I just want to ask you a simple question. Is Prince Andrew on Epstein's client list?
The material related to Prince Andrew has been made public.
Is Prince Andrew on the client list?
We have released the index of names that were in Jeffrey Epstein's.
Is Donald Trump on Epstein's client list?
The index has been released, and the index will speak for itself.
So I'm just going to say, America, there's a huge red flag. The FBI director could not answer whether Donald Trump was on Epstein's
Gentleman's time
client
has
list.
expired. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the director for being here and for his work over the last several months.
When Congressman Ted Lieu looked across that table and told Kash Patel, "You're the freaking FBI," that wasn't just an outburst, it was a breaking point. A moment of raw frustration that said everything millions of Americans have been thinking for years. Because how many times have we seen the FBI dodge accountability, sidestep transparency, and hide behind ongoing investigations whenever the trail of truth starts leading too close to power? What happened in that hearing wasn't just a tense exchange, it was a collision between two realities, the one the FBI wants the public to believe, and the one that people can clearly see. Lieu wasn't simply pressing Patel for procedural details, he was exposing the deeper rot within an institution that was built to protect the public, but too often protects the powerful instead. Let's think about what we just watched. The FBI searched Jeffrey Epstein's home. They found a safe. They found photographs. These are not small details. This is evidence from one of the most notorious criminal figures of our time, a man whose life intersected with the world's most influential people. Yet here we have the FBI director sitting in front of Congress acting as though he has no idea what was in that safe, no idea what those photographs were, and no idea if his own agency ever followed up on key leads. And then Ted Lieu brings up something extraordinary, that author Michael Wolff claimed Epstein once showed him Polaroids of Donald Trump with girls of an uncertain age. Whether that claim is true or not, that's exactly the kind of thing any serious investigator would want to verify. But Patel's response is a shrug. No confirmation of an interview with Wolff, no subpoenas for the tapes, no sense of urgency to pursue the truth. This is what's so alarming. It's not just about Epstein or Trump, it's about what happens when law enforcement refuses to confront power. When the same FBI that can track down a whistleblower in hours suddenly acts clueless when the target is rich, famous, or politically connected. And Ted Lieu called it out, because that double standard corrodes public trust more than anything else. Patel even admits that the Epstein estate is sitting on unreleased information, files, materials, messages that could shed light on the full scope of Epstein's network. Yet instead of fighting to obtain them, Patel claims the estate is under no obligation to comply with a subpoena. That's just false. The FBI absolutely has the power to subpoena evidence, and in cases involving criminal conspiracies, it's their duty to do so. But instead, Patel hides behind procedure. And that right there reveals everything. The system's willingness to bend for the powerful while tightening its grip on everyone else. The truth is, Epstein wasn't just a person, he was a system. He was the embodiment of how wealth and influence can warp justice, how connections can shield predators, and how accountability disappears the higher up you go. And every time the FBI pretends not to know, every time they sidestep the obvious, they're not just failing to do their job, they're protecting that very system. Ted Lieu's explosion, "You're the freaking FBI," wasn't theater. It was a reflection of the public's outrage. Because how many times do we have to watch this movie? We've seen it with Wall Street after the financial crash. We've seen it with war crimes that never get prosecuted. We've seen it with government officials who lie under oath and face no consequence. And now, again with Epstein, a case that's been surrounded by sealed files, redacted names, and carefully managed silence. This is what systemic protection looks like. It's not overt, It's not a smoking gun. It's slow, bureaucratic inaction. It's, I don't know, I'll get back to you. That's not how it works. These are the words of a system that knows the truth but refuses to face it. And that's why this moment matters. Because it's not just about Epstein or Trump. It's about the integrity of justice itself. If the FBI can't be trusted to investigate the powerful, then the idea of equal justice under the law becomes an illusion. Ted Lieu's anger in that room wasn't just his, it was ours. It was the voice of a nation tired of being gaslit, tired of being told to move on while the truth remains buried in a safe somewhere, guarded by institutions that claim to protect us. What makes this even more significant is that it exposes the moral collapse of those institutions. The FBI's unwillingness to chase the Epstein trail to its full conclusion reveals how deeply compromised the system is. It's a reminder that transparency isn't something given to the public, it's something we have to demand. So when Ted Lieu said, "You're the fricking FBI," what he was really saying was, do your job, stop hiding, stop protecting the powerful, stop pretending you don't know. Because the American people are paying attention now, and the days of blind trust in unaccountable power are over. If this hearing showed us anything, it's that truth doesn't reveal itself. It's forced into the light. That's why it's up to us to keep pushing, questioning, and refusing to let stories like this fade into the background. If you want more unfiltered political analysis that breaks down the power plays others won't touch, make sure you subscribe to Left Lens. Because here, we don't just repeat what they say, we dig into what they mean.